ruin has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth. But we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity, until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
What an awesome intro to such an awesome game. Hello all, hope you is goo and welcome to the darkest dungeon. So, let's get started, shall we? This is going to be a run without the Colour of Madness or the Crimson Court. The Colour of Madness banner is there just as a promotional thing. But of course the game is years old now, as is the DLC. So, we'll be playing on darkest difficulty for this. Most because I don't want to deal with the whole having to reset after like 12 deaths or whatever. Millsy. Excellent. I will enable the various mods I do have planned for this campaign, and then we'll get going.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling, serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
I love the narration in this game. It really does draw itself well from the H.P. Lovecraft books, which is the inspiration for the game. And Wayne June's voice makes for a brilliant atmosphere setter as a part of it, for sure. Can you believe that the narration was nearly going to be omitted from the game, and that was a last minute oversight? Gee, I sure am glad we got it in the end. So the game will start in the old road. So it begins the run of Darkest Waifu Dungeon. Hence, Reynald and Dismas looking a little different to usual. So, let's begin. For those who do not know the game well, we have a light level, which has various effects and detriments based on the level of it. The lower the light level, the more it's in favour of the monsters, as I'm sure you can guess. but the lower the light level, the higher our chance to gain loot and to deal crits. There are 4 positions on each side of a team, as you can see from the dots on each of these moves. So you can see the yellow is where a move can be used, and the red is where a move can be attacked. So where you see a dash between Zealous Accusation here, that means it hits the first and the second target. Some enemies take up more than one spot, however. So yes, we start with a Highwayman and a Crusader, who by default are Reynold and Dismas. I will be renaming these, do not worry.
Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The Hamlet is just ahead.
So, warm-up tutorial fight 1.
Ambush. Send these
Let's
vermin a message.
damage,
The rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer
and then
welcome.
damage. So, let's show off with the stunning blow. You can see that this move has a 100% base chance to stun. Factor in the 25% resistance from this cut through. So I've got a 75% chance that this would stun. And that's led to a stun on this occasion. I also like with the Crusader skin here that so normally a Crusader stun would be using the hilt, the pommel of the sword to stun. With this skin, it's literally just a roundhouse kick. It's great.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
So you can now see that the light level has dropped as we've been moving to 70. So now you can see that it's increased stress gained for the team, increased monster crits. But we still get a few benefits. So on that note, I need to explain that there's a health bar and a stress bar for every member of the team. When we hit 0 health, it's not the end, because we get what's called death blow resistance. So if a unit has 0 hit points, they then have the chance to die. By base, of course, it's 33% chance to die from any damage taken after 0. But with some characters it's more, some characters it's slightly less. Traits can also affect this. So for now, let's carry on with tutorial fight number 2. So this guy at the back's a pain in the butt, which is why I'm going to try using Dismas here to focus him. And the front one, let's stun, or try to stun. Wow, when I said try to stun, I did actually want the stun to go through. I didn't want the game to show off the fact that it resisted, but you know, it's what it is. So you can see now that after taking a hit, Dismas now has gained some stress. However, Reynolds still has none taken. So we'll take out the Fusilier. And you can see now that we're in a fight with more than one enemy. If an enemy is taken down in battle, they often can leave behind their remains. They continue to fill out the combat spot of which they went down in. So for now, this guy's just on the field. More stress taken. So the enemy has moves that can both deal stress and hit point damage. So we need to keep an eye on this meter. The stress meter carries over after a dungeon, but a unit has to survive a dungeon to make it back to town. So you get a little bit of both. So let's continue to bleed this guy. He will go down on his turn because he has 4 bleed damage per turn. Unlucky that guy. Anyway, Reynolds will finish off the job. We take the resources, and we can return to the Hamlet, which is where the base of the game takes place. Or, if I click Continue Adventure here, unfortunately it was trapped, but you can see that we can continue a quest after we've completed a quest. Very handy for later, or for very soon, because I'll show that off in a sec. So Reynolds has gained a trait of scattering, minus 5% damage on all of her range skills, and yes, for the convenience of it all, I'll refer to characters as she and her, just for convenience's sake, even if I name them after males, which is kind of the plan here. Immediately, Reynolds is not Reynolds.
They are yours now,
For instance,
and you are bound to them.
I already have my 2 first characters' names in my head, and that'll be Calg And if I can spell, would be great. Player 1. So we'll go into more of this screen as we go on, but you can see that player 1 has started with 15% stun resistance and +2 speed by default, but she is unable to gamble in town. Calg gained scattering as a result of the previous engagements, but she is a warrior of light, meaning she deals more damage with higher torch, but she does often take our items and will only pray for stress relief, so I want to remove her kleptomania as soon as possible. So this is the estate, the place we start at, and this is where we go to after every single quest. So you can see we have a graveyard. The game features a permadeath system. The reason why I'm not playing on the hardest difficulty of Stygian is that once this fills up to like 12 or 16 or something like that, the game's save file just automatically deletes. I want to have a little bit less worries of that. This here just shows off like how far we are through certain dungeons. Not really necessary. We can buy items such as trinkets. These are, they give various benefits. So for instance, on this Stunstone you can see it would add 10% to, say, Calg's roundhouse kick. For the stun chance it would be 110% rather than 100%. You also gives minus speed. So the game works as a round robin, as I'm sure you may have noticed. Everybody in a round gets a turn, but the order is determined randomly based off speed at a slight bit of deviance. So let's grab our first Plague Doctor. I've already messaged Dragon, and he told me that he wants his character to be a Plague Doctor. Well, he said a couple, but I'm gonna put him as a her as a Plague Doctor. So in that case, then our first Vestal is not Herbert, very much not Herbert. Where you have a dragon, you have a Fluffy. Amazing. She has reduced damage if low torch, which is fine, and extra speed at higher torch. And Dragon has extra scattering chance in Cove, but she also is a Plutomaniac and has lower death blow resistance. So you can see if she drops to 0 health, she's got a lower chance of surviving any extra hits. So I'll need to be careful for her and remove her debuffs as such. That's pretty much it. There are other places for us to unlock further down the line, as you can see. Some of them look in a state of disrepair, but that will be fixed. Let's move to the ruins, which is the starting tutorial dungeon. Well, all 4 of these areas are standard, but this is specifically a very coordinated beginning dungeon. So let's put Fluffy and Dragon in. This team is called Red Hook. If I swap this around, it's called the Usual Suspects. So you can see good cop, bad cop. You can see there's different names based on the positionings. I think I'm happy with the positioning I've got here. Let's get to it.
The cost of preparedness measured now in
so we'll take a bit of food,
later in blood.
Take a couple shovels, we'll take an extra key. I'll take 6 torches, I think. Let's take a backup key for just in case. And I think that's all I'd like to address on this one. So on we go. Any resources that aren't used are given back to you in the form of money. So you spend the money to get the resources, you get a fraction of it back. So it's better to take more than less, but for now I want to sort of keep my uses low while my money piles up, because it will be very quickly used between removing traits and upgrading characters. When I say removing traits, I of course mean the bad ones. So, on we go. And yes, the Vestal waifu skin that I've chosen is a bit egregious, but unfortunately they had nothing better that was actually working. There were some I preferred, but I couldn't quite get them to work, which is disappointing.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
So we'll move to the first and only currently available room, of which we get a fight. So you can see Dragon has 7 speed. On this rotation, player 1's going first because she also has 7 speed. Let's go with a grape shot blast to get some spread of the damage. This fight would be over in like 1 turn anyway. Dragon having bleed is not very useful versus skeletons, some may say.
Press this advantage.
But she still came out with a nice hit. And see, taking out enemies can also remove stress. Speaking of which, if you have
A momentary abatement.
If you have a crit dealt to you, you take extra stress on at least that member that took the damage. And then you also gain back
Triumphant pride
or reduce your stress
a dizzying fall.
when you deal a crit. So it works in both ways. And that was a nice bit of loot. The loot is slightly randomized, but the dungeon layout's basically the same on this one. I know / remember that much.
Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
So you can see that as we move, as we had the stuff scouted out, this is about to be a fight when I go past here. Here we go. So, the monsters are still managed to get surprised, but you can see now we get plus loot in this fight. Here's hoping. If I keep the light low enough, I could also choose to lower it manually, like so. I can also choose to increase it by using torches, but for now we'll leave it at this level. Let's play grenade this back lady. And that's Judgment. So now she'll die on her turn because of the
Continue the onslaught.
dot.
Destroy them.
So now we're just down to 1 enemy. And after this fight, I think I'll increase the torch level again. So on that note, let's lower the loot right down.
Terrors may indeed stalk these shadows, but yonder, a glint of gold.
Wonderfully hinted from the narration there about the extra loot. Very nice.
Nightmarish creatures can
So
be
let's
felt. They can be beaten.
go back up to higher light. Excellent, there's nothing in this room, so I didn't plan that well. Never mind, we move. So you can see now down this corridor we'll come across a curio. These can be anything from... oh no, hold on. She's a megalomania. Plutomania. But she didn't steal the items, unlike Kaug, who is a kleptomania. So it's better that Dragon had a little look in on the thing than Kaug, because otherwise Kaug may have taken all of our loot. But she didn't, so it's okay. Let's buff player 1. Because she can deal a smidge of damage apparently. Not quite what I was after, but you know what? It's better than nothing. And let's pop. Nice crit. And there goes our 1 piece of stress that Kaug had. She's doing well. I kind of want to bring Kaug into many dungeons. I do quite like Crusaders. When we unlock the guild, I'd like to swap her moveset around a little. But she'll still be very useful. So let's cleave.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Remember, this damage is temporary. And bang, down you go.
Is broken. Maintain the offensive.
So let's take the rewards from the fight. And nobody really has a lot of damage or stress on them right now. But I'll show this off. With an interactable within the game, if I offer a certain item, such as the holy water versus a fountain, it gives me better results than just using the item would have done. So let's go back. I want to go in all these rooms. This is the tutorial dungeon. We can make use of all the rooms. We only have to explore 90%. As you can see, all the missions, all the trips, all the dungeons, however you want to think of it, all have certain criteria. This one's just explore 90% of rooms. Sometimes it's complete 100% of room battles. Calg has took a key and busts from me. So she's basically stopped me from grabbing the key is a whatever, but the bust is actually pretty handy to have had. So she stopped us from getting extra heirlooms, which are used for upgrades and stuff. Which is why I want her to remove her kleptomania as soon as possible. Right, what are we doing here? I kind of like the formula I have going, to be honest. We'll put a dot on the acolyte. So on her next turn, she'll go down, and now I only have to worry about the front two. See, the back units tend to deal more stress, and the front units to deal more damage. Not always, it's just a typical formula that the game follows.
Sedated.
Graveyard smash. They do the mash. Wonderful Calg. Very nice. And now we brought the acolyte forward, and as we move the enemies around, much like how if we got moved then our movesets would be effective or ineffective as such, theirs also get changed. So that makes for a more interesting turn of events. So let's have a little look. We have an heirloom chest, and this is where the key that Calg stole would have been useful. But that's right, because I brought two. It's almost like I knew this would happen. Right, let's use up the remainder of the torches. And I did not see that trap. It was probably there visible, but I just didn't see it. If it's not shown on scouting, I often miss traps, so you'll see me hit a lot of traps. Just by the by. Something I will readily admit to. So Calg didn't steal it this time. Let's eat some of the food. When I say some, I mean basically all of it. But hopefully in a second, or soon enough, we'll see what food is used for. Go on, game. Here we go. So, as we come by, we have to have enough food to feed all the party, or else we can't press this. But we either eat food, or we take a whole bunch of damage and stress. So, keeping food, rather recommended. And in we go. So you can see we've now completed this. I don't want to have finished this yet. I want to go into this last room. We'll be fighting the final boss, the final fight in here, sorry, with no real light level. Luckily the monster's still got surprise, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to snuff the torch. This is the last room in the dungeon.
The darkness holds dominion.
So I can try and get the most amount of rewards possible. And oh, that was beautiful. That guy with the little guy there was probably one of the most annoying enemies to deal with on their team. So I'm glad that we got rid of him immediately. So player 1 did very well there. That removed one of the more annoying enemies on their team. Crit heal, removed stress. And yes, heals also work for that purpose. Whack. Good hit, Calg. But let's not forget that they get extra accuracy and damage. And extra crit rate. So you can see we took quite a bit of stress for the whole team from that. Unlucky player 1. But it's alright, she's still alive. She's still kicking. She's still dealing good damage. So now, she's at 0 hit points. Which puts us at death's door. As described earlier, this is a state that says there's a chance for our unit to perish. However, when we're not at 0 hit points, we instead get death's door recovery. Meaning that we get a few debuffs for the rest of the quest, but hey, the unit's still alive and that's what matters. So I'll just put a dot onto the bone guy at the back. Then let's I'm not looking at this for the bleed, by the way. I just want the Pure damage. Then I can get rid of him. I was also trying to remove the corpse to remove the back guy, but it doesn't really matter. So yeah, we get reduced buff, we get reduced stats for the remainder of the quest. It would be a shame if this was the final room in the quest. Okay, so we'll grab extras. We don't have the room for these, so my plan... 5 gold each, 25 gold each. My plan is to remove the holy water. Then I do want this journal page. The journal pages aren't too relevant, but if I can get them done sooner rather than later, it's pretty good. So that's 30 gold. That's 30 gold. That's 25 gold. So the most logical option is to remove the shovel, take the journal page, and leave. So that'll be handy.
The tents are pitched.
So they're describing us about the Butcher Circus. It's a player versus player thing. I know it says it removes stress from heroes, but I'm not going to bother with the Butcher Circus for the purpose of this playthrough. We've now unlocked the tavern, which is stress relieving. For instance, due to player 1's known cheat quirk, she is unable to go here. Likewise with Cow, she's unable to go anywhere other than in the Abbey for here. However, it's currently being used, so we can't use it. But you can see we can only pray. At some point, I can't remember where or how, but we can upgrade these slots here. Or to get more slots, I think it's upgrading these. I think eventually leveling up the cloister gives you the extra slots, for instance. But for now, we'll just ignore that. Let's look into new characters. So we can get a second Vestal and a second Crusader. I'm happy with that. So let's quickly make it that in the future we can hold more characters in total, and that we can find more at a quicker rate. So for now, let's take a second Vestal, who I'll most likely want to use in the next dungeon to give Fluffy a chance to relieve her stress. This is a really good looking vessel as well. Automaton Phobia is a bit annoying, as is the weak grip on life. However, this one does get no stress penalty when walking backwards, which is quite nice actually. The camping skills will kick in when we go for a medium or above length dungeon. For now, we don't need to worry about those. I'll go into more in depth when we first come across one. For now, Maddock and
a mighty sword arm anchored.
I know what I want this one to do.
A zealous warrior.
This Crusader will be black. Wonderful. Marvellous. So let's just embark and we'll have a little look at what's available. So we're back specifically in the ruins. However, you can see that we have more options open this time. So 2 mediums and 2 shorts. I think I'd quite like to set up ready. So when it says 10% virtue chance, when we get to 100 stress, they can take either a virtue or an affliction, I think they're called. I can never remember what the debuff version is called. So I'll take this for the lucky dices. Let's pull out the team and I'll make it from scratch. I think player 1 will sit this one out, just because she'll be more useful in, say, the Weald and the Warrens rather than the Ruins and the Cove. She's still great, don't get me wrong, but she'll have other times to shine. We'll put Maddock in with Dragon, and we are the Inquisition. Nobody expects us.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Skeletons with high protection are susceptible to blight attacks. Yes, very true. So, your dots like bleeds and blights are as they are described. There's no modifiers on the damage, which is why they say that. So, this is another scout one. So 90% would be everything minus this room, but we'll see what happens. I might take that room as well. For now, let's offer up the... Oh, did I choose the wrong one? Never mind. I forgot what this takes. Unlucky. And I feel like I've already not got enough keys. Because there's one right there. I'll need to find some in the dungeon, that's fine. Let's move on. And we get a scout. So there's 2 hall battles in this one. So let's get moving through them. Hopefully there's like nothing too strenuous. That's what I was about to say.
Eventually.
Good stuff, team. I get my busts.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
And there goes key number 2, Electric Boogaloo. Already making me regret not bringing more keys. Because there's a... Oh yeah, there's a room with treasure here. I knew that. Oh well, you can still get items from this chest without having to unlock with a key. He hopes. Fairly certain it'll still be fine. Nice miss. The target here is the back. This is kind of where I regret not bringing player 1. But that's okay. I can still hit with Maddock. She done a good job there. And let's take on this defender.
Exposed to a killing blow.
Unlucky Calc. So because she took the brunt of the hit, she took stress, but so did Maddock and Dragon actually. But this guy, now you can see why I wanted to get rid of this guy. Dragon just took way too much stress from that one attack.
As the fiend falls,
Right, Chunky Boy's gone down. And then we're down to 1 enemy because the courier will go down, the courtier, sorry, not the courier. The courtier goes down on its next turn. And let's use this time to de-stress slightly. And then let's just play grenade them again. Never mind. I tried. We'll clear off a corpse. There are some moves that can clear off all corpses, but we don't have any of those yet. I think everything's fine here though. Let's heal Calc. And I can use this time to slightly make things better for the team. There's only one of them, and they're going down on their next turn. Oh, skeleton key. Thank you. That replaces the one I needed to use before. And bang. Damn, could have given me another key.
Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Anyway, on to the next room, which is empty. But we need to clear this obstacle. You want shovels all the time, because then if you have to dig out the obstacles by hand, that gives you a whole bunch of stress. So good thing I'm carrying enough shovels. Shame's the same can't be said about keys, but that's a skill issue my end. Alright, so the scouting has pulled out 2 rooms that do nothing. Excellent. A little bit of gold, better than no gold. And we've got the first tick of hunger in the dungeon. I've got enough food to supplement 1 more. So it may well be that I need to omit this room just to make sure that my people aren't taking stress just because I didn't bring food to go for a back and forth. Go. Another shovel down, but that saves me a little bit. Let's torch up a bit. So although I get more benefits from lower torches, I think I want to go for more light level at the moment. Let's keep the beginning bit kind of above board, shall we? So they're stunned. Let's make this brawler bleed. Good job, Dragon. She did great there. And yes, this Acolyte needs to go. Which is what I should have really done with Dragon. Put a dot on, but that's okay. A dot went on someone, and that's what matters. Let's stun you. And then try and de-stress. Let's attack.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Didn't quite think I'd deal 11. Not gonna lie. There we go, the round robin starts again. So you can see the number in the torch. I think I forgot to explain this, but you can see anyway that the number in the torch is just the turn of the fight. Okay. So 24 more stress on Maddock. Amazing. Not what I wanted to see, but it's what I got. And then we ended up with an extra ruby, a portrait for the heirlooms. So a bit of money, a bit of more long-term beneficial stuff, and another fight. Sheesh. Maddock took quite the hit there, giving everyone stress. Unfortunate. Let's go play grenade on these two. This guy needs to go. Damage and stress. Quite a lot of it too. So let's hit this guy. He'll go down his next turn. I want to stun the one that's yet to attack. Probably could have finished it off in one hit, to be honest, but let's just secure the lack of a hit. And then Black can finish this one off.
Executed with impunity.
Amazing. Good high roll on the damage there. So let's damage the back arbalest a bit more. They'll take 8 damage a round at the moment. So that's then finished off, meaning we're just down to the front. Oh, I can't count. I thought that was enough. It wasn't enough. It's alright, Dragon, you're safe. But because the Arbalest is going down on their next turn, let's use this opportunity to stress heal and slightly heal Dragon. And heal again. Kind of fishing for crits here. Let's try a party wide heal for a crit. Never mind. Never mind. I was trying to use that as a stress reliever. Did not work. And another key. Please tell me the final room over here is a treasure chest one. I am omitting this room over here to the left, by the way. That's not going to be used now. That was a decision mainly born from the lack of, well, not lack of food, but just lack of wanting to instigate the odds on stuff happening. Uh-oh. Good. Fluffy. Maddock wasn't brought forward. So when you get pulled, it's just moving your position, which affects your whole team. We can do the same to them and push their units around and pull them forward and stuff. Okay, let's get rid of the easy one and then attack this one. So that the brawler always makes me think it's got protection on it, but it doesn't. It can gain protection, I think, in one of its attacks or something, but sure as hell doesn't start with it. Nice miss. So once again, I will put a dot on those. The courtier is going down its next turn, so let's just work on healing. And let's take out the front. And stress heal Maddock. I don't want her to gain an affliction. And stun cloak. Extra protection of dodge if torch is above 75. with a debuff off stress. Not amazing, honestly, but, you know, what I can do is I can wield it on someone, and that frees up space in the inventory for whatever else I may find. So let's see here. It didn't reveal this room, shame, but such is life. Let's keep torch level high.
In radiance, may we find victory.
So we can see a trap on the floor. 60, 50, 70, 50. So dragon has the best odds of not being hit. Disarmed, reduces stress. Excellent. However, she's going to go and steal the... Oh no, she's just a megalomaniac. That would have been Calg that would have stolen it outright. So let's just move into this last room. Huzzah! It's done. I'm not going to go back for the other room. Let's return to Hamlet and finish off the episode. So,
Great ruins belong to us.
we've got a useful little relic for when I get my first Jester, because I do want a Jester. Jesters are very good, in my opinion. Calg got Clumsy. Ugh, come on, Calg. Unquiet Mind. That's not a bad debuff, actually. Diurnal. Sure. And Dud Hitter. None of these are too much of a problem, honestly, except the clumsy part on Calg. But I need her to get rid of her kleptomania, because removing it is less for cost than what she will eventually take from being in the team, from money-wise. So anyway, that's the start of Darkest Dungeon. So, catch you again soon for more.